play out here, you can't capitalize. You know, this game.
In one of the most unexpected moments in boxing, two longtime rivals came together when Terence Crawford made a surprise appearance at Gervonta Davis's training camp, offering tips ahead of his fight with Jake Paul next month. Crawford recently learned firsthand what it's like to jump several weight classes and face a naturally bigger opponent, so he decided to honor the invitation after Gervonta's coach, Calvin Ford, personally reached out and asked him to stop by. Watching Davis train, Crawford immediately stressed the importance of speed, shouting from ringside that speed is the one clear advantage he has. He told Tank he was fortunate not to be the one moving up in weight this time. Instead, he urged him to stay sharp, stay quick, and stay strong if he wants to win. And every time he saw Tank lingering in the pocket during sparring, Crawford quickly corrected him, yelling, "You only stay in the pocket after you've felt his punches. Don't stay there if you haven't tasted them yet."
You know, the victory is just as satisfying to me as a knockout, you know, because at the end of the day, it's all going to go on your record as the same, a win.
You know, seeing
This was Crawford telling Tank to sharpen his footwork and focus more on conditioning rather than trying to put on extra weight, since gaining weight would actually work against him. Even Crawford admitted he was just as shocked as everyone else when the fight was announced, and he hadn't supported Gervonta Davis at all until now, as their relationship only recently improved. Because of the size difference, Crawford believes the matchup could end badly for Davis. "Jake is too big for Tank," Crawford said on the Full Send podcast. In reality, he's way too big for him.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Crawford has mentioned before that he isn't exactly a supporter of Davis, yet the 37-year-old still refuses to dismiss Tank's abilities. Even so, he doubled down on the idea that the size gap will be too much to overcome. Tank is extremely gifted, hits hard, and is explosive, but Jake is just too big, Crawford explained. He also pointed out that Davis struggled in his last outing. The 30-year-old ended up with a majority decision draw against Lamont Roach on March 1st at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Everything suggested a rematch was next, until Davis suddenly accepted Jake Paul's offer instead.
Think about it.
Bruh.
Yeah. Lay it on me, Rolly. What do you think, bro? Come on.
I don't even know what to think right now. I don't even know what to think. Maybe Tank has an unreal boxing ability and Jake Paul is really big. But the last time I said somebody was going to be bigger, they weren't that much bigger. But I think in this case, somebody's actually a lot bigger, so.
Did you see the face-off? Like, he's a lot bigger, even though I know it's like 190.
When it comes to the ex-YouTuber who now competes as a borderline cruiserweight contender, he's been blasted for years over the level of fighters he chooses. Crawford doesn't understand the purpose of this matchup at all. Still, he'll watch it. And if the bout isn't just a glorified sparring session and both men truly intend to fight at full intensity, Bud feels the outcome is obvious. In his eyes, Davis won't just get beaten, he'll get stopped in a vicious manner.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna do.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
He's just too small?
It's just, I don't want to.
As for the former YouTuber who's worked his way into fringe cruiserweight status, he's been slammed non-stop for the kind of opponents he picks. Crawford doesn't really understand why this matchup is happening in the first place. Still, he'll be watching. And if the fight turns out to be more than a hyped-up exhibition, with both of them actually planning to go full force, Bud thinks the result is clear. Not only does he expect Davis to lose, but he believes the defeat will be harsh and punishing.
20 days home detention by serving at a four-season hotel and a $3.4 million penthouse rather than trainer Calvin Ford house as the judge agreed. This is the reason why Tank is not being jailed. Gervonta Davis' lawyer argued that the house was too small for security staff. Additionally,
today, Gervonta Davis was arrested for domestic violence. He's the champion in your division. What do you think about? What's your reaction to that?
I don't know about that. I don't know Tank personally, and
I really got nothing to say. I just wish him the best. Everything inside the ring, outside the ring.
Definitely. Shakur fights tomorrow. That's another.
Davis fired back by taking personal shots at Crawford and even his family, causing the situation to heat up quickly. Gervonta mocked Crawford's wife and made comments about her appearance, which led Crawford to respond sharply. But the most talked about moment came when Ryan Booth jumped in. Crawford answered him with a short, four-word post aimed directly at Booth, saying, "We got passports over here."
In the world, he's trained hard, he's got to the top of his game, he's made money, he's become a world champion, he's super talented, and he's got that cunt as our girlfriend. He should be doing better than that. Terence Bud Crawford. It's all about levels, isn't it? Carfwatch wouldn't have that nice, attractive girlfriend of his if he was a bin man.
Crawford's strong response to Booth's remark about his wife's weight was widely praised online, as fans and fighters alike condemned Booth for his disrespectful behavior. Just a day before, Booth had sparked outrage by posting a crude question about Crawford's wife, Isa, on Twitter: "Should a world champion boxer have a fat girlfriend?" The tweet included a photo of Crawford in a suit standing beside his wife in a dress. Booth is already known for stirring controversy on YouTube and social media, and his account was ultimately suspended after his comment about Crawford's partner. It has become almost routine for fighters to target Crawford's wife, likely because they can't find any real vulnerabilities in him, so they turn to the person closest to him as an easy way to provoke him.
If he was a bin man, emptying bins in Nottingham, he wouldn't have that at all. Yeah, he'd be struggling. Everything for a reason. George Groves with the Rubik's Cube. I found a woman who really likes Rubik's Cubes as well. Yeah. Everything for a reason. I don't know what the reason is for wearing that. It's not all that, is it? Everything for a reason.
And while Gervonta Davis prepared for his now-cancelled rematch with Lamont and dealt with his latest legal situation, Crawford addressed the matter, but kept his comments controlled, refusing to stoop to personal attacks. Even though Davis's relationship with his former girlfriend ended long ago, the two still share responsibilities as parents to their 2 children. After being taken into custody and held at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center on a $10,000 bond, Davis was eventually released once the bail was posted. So what exactly was Terence Crawford's reaction to the entire situation?
Boxing champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis has been arrested and charged with battery in South Florida. Police allege the Baltimore native assaulted his ex-girlfriend during an argument on Father's Day in Doral, Florida. Davis was arrested and booked by Miami Beach police, and a judge set his bond at $10,000.
Some time back, TV interviewed Terence Crawford to cover several topics, from Shakur Stevenson's upcoming fight with William Zepeda to Crawford's own massive clash with Canelo Alvarez on September 13 in Las Vegas. However, the discussion shifted when the reporter mentioned the breaking news of the day. "We've seen today that Gervonta Davis unfortunately got into some trouble. What advice would you have for someone like Tank Davis?" they asked. Choosing his words carefully, the 37-year-old delivered a calm and measured reply. "Man, I don't know what's going on with him in his personal life. That's on him. I'm minding the business that pays me. That's my business," Crawford said.
Gervonta Davis get in some trouble. What advice would you have for someone like Tank Davis?
Man, I don't know what's going on with him and his personal life. That's on him. I'm minding the business that pays me. That's my business.
Well, Terence, thank you so much for your time as always on AFL TV. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Even though Gervonta Davis had previously thrown shots at Crawford and even at his wife, the 4-division undefeated champion refused to respond with the same kind of disrespect. But when the conversation shifts strictly to boxing, Crawford has no problem stating exactly where he believes Davis fits in today's competitive field. A few months back, Bud shared his thoughts on the Baltimore Star's upcoming rematch with Lamont Roach Jr. during his appearance on the Ring Champs with AK and Barack podcast. He credited Roach Jr. for putting on an impressive showing in their first encounter, yet Crawford remains unconvinced that Roach will be able to deliver that kind of performance a second time.
Unfortunately, Tank, he was arrested today. He has some personal incident. My question for you is the impact to his career. He's had these roller coasters, these ups and downs, and he's a star. What do you think about it?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, Tank, I've been saying he needs therapy. That's all.
Following a discussion about why Max Kellerman believes Manny Pacquiao deserves to rank above Floyd Mayweather on a pound-for-pound list of the century's greatest boxers, especially after ESPN placed Floyd at number 1 and Pacquiao at number 2, Ryan Garcia weighed in with a sharp rebuttal. Earlier this month, former NFL star LaShawn McCoy claimed, "Nobody has changed the game like Floyd Money Mayweather." Garcia immediately fired back, in a bad way. In a bad way. He continued, "Mayweather perfected the strategy of knowing the exact right moment to fight someone and the exact moment to avoid them. He's the best at that game. He's the best at making money and setting up major fights." But then Garcia explained why, because he carefully timed every single matchup. He didn't fight anyone truly in their prime after junior lightweight. So yes, he changed the sport, but in the worst way. Now everyone's obsessed with protecting that 0 on their record.
The fight.
They got to change their culture, though, because a loss in boxing means a lot more than a loss in MMA. Like, the MMA fans are more accepting, especially if the fight was good, where in boxing, their whole role is to build you to 20 so they can get you title fights, and they're finding people for you along the way, so...
Still, Kellerman noted that Crawford's recent run has forced many to re-examine long-held assumptions about the sport's modern hierarchy. With each dominant performance, Crawford continues to blur the lines between generational great and all-time great, elevating the conversation beyond simple comparisons of resumes. Kellerman pointed out that the way Crawford neutralizes elite opponents, often switching game plans mid-fight and systematically taking control, adds layers to his case that Mayweather never had to contend with while still fighting. And as Crawford continues to operate at a level that suggests he hasn't hit his ceiling yet, the debate grows more compelling. In Kellerman's view, while Mayweather's technical mastery and career accomplishments remain extraordinary, Crawford's blend of timing, versatility, and finishing ability places him squarely in the discussion, challenging a hierarchy that once felt untouchable.
Another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know, I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter.
However, Kellerman emphasized that Mayweather grew noticeably more selective with his opposition once he moved beyond the lightweight ranks, often choosing the ideal moment to face high-risk challengers. In Kellerman's view, this careful timing played a major role in safeguarding Mayweather's unbeaten record, but it also fueled long-standing questions about how willing he truly was to meet every top contender in their absolute prime. He contrasted that approach with Crawford's career-long willingness to take on virtually anyone, at any time, without concern for timing or risk. Kellerman suggested that this mindset has earned Crawford a different level of respect among fans and fighters alike, shaping the way his legacy is beginning to be viewed.
Change the game like Floyd Money Mayweather.
He mastered the art of knowing when to fight somebody and when not to fight somebody. I mean, he's the best in that game. He's the best in, making money and making all the, the huge fights happen. But why? Because he was timing every single one of them. He never fought nobody really in their prime. He always
after junior lightweight. Junior lightweight.
He changed the game in the worst way possible. You're right. Everybody's trying to protect their own. I had to break that with Tank.
A lot of the stuff that Canelo was doing, and that I would say this, that worked from Boots helped in that aspect, because Canelo was reacting to a lot of the counters that Crawford was throwing. Usually in the past, Canelo would stand right there. He would lunge and he would stay in place, keep his feet in place. However, Canelo...
If you examine Floyd's resume, it's undeniably far deeper than Crawford's, and Floyd possessed superior speed, sharper reflexes, and a more refined defensive style. Yet, as Kellerman noted, Floyd also carefully selected the timing of many of his biggest fights, particularly after leaving the lightweight division. Crawford, on the other hand, even with a resume that some argue lacks certain marquee names, made it clear throughout his career that he was willing to face anyone at any moment. And that attitude resonates with people. The analyst went on to draw striking parallels between Crawford and icons like Pacquiao and Roy Jones Jr., suggesting that Crawford has now earned a comparable level of respect among elite fighters. It's the kind of recognition that goes beyond simple records or technical breakdowns.
It's wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight.
Mayweather eventually felt compelled to address Crawford, not only because boxing fans kept pushing for the comparison, but also because two of his own former opponents publicly claimed Crawford was the better fighter, which many saw as a major slight to the legacy of the boxing icon. Beyond Canelo, Shane Mosley, who dropped a decision to Mayweather 15 years ago, also voiced the same sentiment.
We've had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation go as far as who would win in a fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I
Floyd
love you, Terrence.
always figures it out.
Yeah.
In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Mosley made a surprising statement, saying he considers Bud Crawford to be superior to Mayweather, while still acknowledging the impressive skills of his former opponent. He explained, "I feel Crawford is the better and naturally bigger guy. He's actually climbing weight divisions. Overall, I'd say Crawford is the more complete fighter. Mayweather was excellent, too, you can't take that away from him. His talent was undeniable. It would have been a close matchup, but I'd lean toward Crawford because of his reach and his size advantage."
Like I am now.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't.
Fans and analysts across the globe have already started arguing over whether Bud should now be viewed as the greatest fighter ever following his win over Canelo. The landmark victory pushed the 37-year-old back to the very top of the pound-for-pound rankings. Canelo, meanwhile, had hinted at his opinion before the bout, but after being defeated, he doubled down and admitted that Crawford was simply the superior man that night. During his post-fight press conference, Canelo shocked many when he stated that Terence Crawford is a better boxer than Floyd Mayweather. "I believe Crawford is far better than Floyd Mayweather," Canelo remarked afterward.
When I looked at it, he came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the loop in the right hands.
Despite the celebration and prestige attached to the belt, Crawford's win has drawn heavy criticism from certain fans and pundits. Those on the opposing side insist that the pricey title is nothing more than a flashy prop and that the triumph carries little real significance. Much of the backlash revolves around Canelo Alvarez, who many believe is no longer at his peak and had been steering clear of the most threatening challengers.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually he moving weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather.
The controversy is intensified even more by the nature of the fight itself. While Crawford secured a unanimous decision victory, countless viewers characterized the bout as razor-thin and highly competitive from start to finish.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Based on breakdowns from analysts and fans across social media, many believe Crawford spent the first 8 rounds largely inactive, getting outworked by a far more assertive Canelo, and only pulled ahead in the final 4 rounds. His showing was labeled disappointing by detractors who insist Crawford appeared out of shape and only marginally better than Canelo on the night. With Gervonta set to meet Jake Paul in under a month, he's pushing hard to erase the memory of his rough outing against Lamont Roach, and having Terence Crawford present in camp could be the missing element he needs. And that wraps things up. For more top-tier coverage of news, highlights, events, and everything happening in boxing, make sure you stay tuned by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss our quality content. Until next time, peace.
Mayor of the city said there's already going to be an investigation, but the damage is already done, my guy. The damage is already done. I'll be surprised if Terence "Bud" Crawford comes back to the city just disrespectful to the face of boxing. Not saying that the man's above the law, but Lord child.